How are you?
Doing good.
Good. We're here in Tok, and we're at Three Bears Outpost. This is where we get our licenses. So, Doll sheep tag, harvest ticket.
You'll be good to go.
Ready to roll?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, there you have it. Three Bears Outpost. We got our tags. We got our locking tags. Doll sheep, legal and ready to roll. Let's go.
Live on the edge, 'cause brother, win or lose, it's all what to do with the chance you're given, yeah. Through the wind and rain, you feel your heart pound down. You got one shot, what you got? Tell me what's it gonna be? You gotta make the most of this opportunity. If others fail, make sure you succeed. On the edge.
The Edge is sponsored by Cabela's and also by Bog Pod, Browning, Buck Expert, Caldwell, Field Torque Knives, Prime Archery, High Mountain Seasonings, HowToHunt.com, Hornady, Polaris, 10-Point Crossbows, Wild Game Innovations Trail Cameras, and Vortex.
Alaska is known as the mecca to any big game hunter. Between the Doll sheep, the moose, the caribou, I mean, there's a plethora of big game animals to hunt up there. And it's just a dream come true, something I've waited for my entire life.
Steve Ecklund is heading to Shoshana, Alaska. He's traveling over 4,000 kilometers to the southeast corner of the state. He'll spend 2 weeks in a rugged, mountainous region home to the Doll sheep.
As we get closer, the smaller the planes get. The smaller the planes get, the more sick I get. Motion sickness, been like that my whole life. So there was a few instances there where it was a little dicey, but we made it in and safely. Did not fill the barf bag up this time, so that's good.
Steve will be hunting with Pioneer Outfitters. They've been established here for many years and know the region better than anyone else.
Pioneer Outfitters has been in existence probably since the 40s.
Really?
Maybe before that. And I got involved with it in 1959.
1959.
Yeah, and so I've been here ever since then.
Wow. What are we in store for?
I would say it's going to be pretty physical. Usually when you involve sheep into any kind of a hunting trip, it's going to be very physical.
You're in one of the most phenomenal areas in all of Alaska for Doll sheep. I can't wait to get out there.
The rugged terrain and the long distance to the hunting ground means the group will be traveling on horseback.
Don't do anything that's going to upset this horse. I got to ride him. I want him in a good mood. It was my first time doing a horseback hunt, and I was pretty excited. For a hunt of this nature, we needed to bring a substantial amount of gear with us, and not having that on my back was a real blessing. Now, the downside to horses was I'm not a horse rider or proficient at riding horses by any means. I knew I was going to get beat up.
And while the final preparation of the horses is underway, Steve makes sure that his gear has survived the trip to Alaska.
Gear is essential. I really wanted to get this Doll sheep done with a bow and arrow, but not knowing the terrain before we got there and what it looked like, I always like to take both weapons. One of Terry's requirements is to make sure that after a long journey in, that we proof our rifles. We're shooting the Browning X-Bolt on this trip, fueled by Hornady Superformance, and we're ready to go. Being proficient with your equipment like that, it's not all about bragging to your buddies about how awesome you are on the range. It's more about the animal and the animals that we pursue. We owe it to that animal to be very proficient in order to make a clean and quick harvest. Okay, going hot.
Where'd that one go?
Right at the top of the paper again.
That's a long way.
Never been on a range quite like this before. The backdrop here is majestic. I mean, the mountains in the background, just unbelievable.
With the horses saddled, it'll take 7 hours to reach their base camp, home for the next 2 weeks.
I'm almost speechless in this country right now. It's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, we're here in Alaska. I mean, just doesn't get any better than this. Get up there. Get up there. Everybody give me the gears. You know, on day one, I brought in a little cushion seat and I sat it on my horse and you know, right out of the gates, it felt a lot more comfortable than just that hard saddle. But it wasn't long after that, and my horse took me for a bit of a run, and I think it was day one, halfway through day one, and I lost that thing. So I had to man up and take it for the rest of the trip.
Well, here we are in Alaska somewhere. Mountains and brush and lakes and bog holes.
Terry Overly, he knows this land like the back of his hand. Every nook and cranny, every river crossing, every mountain pass.
All kinds of wildlife around here. We're not sure what it is or where it is, but we're going to go find it.
Coming up,
I can see 6 rams, and one of them's definitely a shooter. I mean, we're not even through setting up yet, and we're already picking out rams. It's going to be a great week.
Steve is in the Alaskan wilderness, traveling by horseback on a 2-week hunt for Dall sheep.
I couldn't tell you how many miles we rode, but I know it was a 7-hour ride just to get to the first spike camp. And during that time, I mean, you start off low and you just continually climb and climb and climb. There's the home away from home for the next 10, 15 days. It's just spectacular countryside here. We are in grizzly bear country, as you can see. We had a cache of food up here in the trees. Glad we're here and make it home.
The base camp will operate as a staging point for each day's hunt. The slopes surrounding the camp are prime habitat for the sheep.
Base camp was probably set at about, I'd say, 3,500, 4,000 feet. And then, of course, to get to the sheep, it was another 2,500 feet vertical for sure. I couldn't help myself. I brought the spotter out. And just in this back mountain, I don't know, maybe 2,500 yards from us, I can see 6 rams, and one of them's definitely a shooter. So we're not even through setting up yet, and we're already picking out rams. It's going to be a great week. Alaska has a through full curl regulation, and what that means is that the horn actually curls beyond the base of the horn. So not to the base of the horn, but through the base of the horn. The other requirement is double broomed, so broomed off on both sides. And finally, if you're close enough to determine this, is an age requirement. They have to be a minimum of 8 years old.
The first day, Steve quickly becomes aware of the enormity of the hunt and the challenges that lie ahead.
You know, it impacted the way we were going to hunt this, or try to hunt this, dramatically. I mean, we had to hunt from the bottom up. It wasn't a spot where you could typically hunt from the tops down, and that's how I like to do it. They're high, eh? Sheep are high. It was early season, and these sheep were incredibly high. You know, we anticipated them being down, or at least catching them coming down into the creek beds and drainages, you know, for a drink. There's a couple of good sheep just across from us on this range here that we're sure are legal. But they're high, you know, they're super high. They're right at the tops, and there's really no way to get to them. The sheep, they stay high because they're, you know, they're aware of their surroundings. Every predator that's out there comes from the bottom up. And then here we were trying to do the same thing. So it was a little tricky for sure. 4 good sheep, but still 2,000 yards, pretty much straight up.
And to add to the difficulties, special care must be given to the horses.
Traveling with the horses, you're putting a lot of stress and you're working them pretty hard. The mountains were very steep. You think, suck it up, princess, and climb to the top. Well, a lot of these mountains, you just couldn't do that. Once in a while, especially on some steep terrain, we'd get off and walk with the horses, give them a bit of a break, and it was a good chance to actually kind of bond. At least I needed to bond with my horse because he was only letting me think that I was in control.
After several days of not being able to get close enough to the sheep, Steve decides to change tactics.
These sheep are incredible climbers, and they were getting into spots that were just inaccessible. Where we've been seeing the good rams, not conducive to archery hunting, so we're getting the Browning X-bolt suited up and ready to go into battle. I always like to take both weapons. I bring the bow and the gun. Once we looked at the animals and where they were, it quickly turned into a gun hunt after that.
Coming up,
I'm not doing anything, Terry, until you say.
It looks like he's full curl, but
I'm sure not one to miss an opportunity, but I'm really torn right now.
a dream hunt for Dall sheep in the Alaskan wilderness is proving much more challenging than Steve had imagined.
I think we go high. That's my gut.
We were seeing a lot of sheep that you just could not get to.
Finding a legal ram in the steep, mountainous terrain is proving to be quite challenging for both horse and hunter.
There's so much travel time involved in this hunt up here on the horses that it's physically beats you up for sure. Going forward, just stay positive, and this is going to happen. I mean, we're here for a Dall sheep, and that's exactly what we're going to do.
It was early season for us. The sheep were super high. It started off being a bow hunt, but once we got deep into the hunt, I mean, it quickly turned into a rifle hunt.
If you catch him on the right when he turns, that right horn actually goes up quite a bit, and the tips of it are black.
I'm not sure.
The requirements for a legal sheep are very clear. What's not clear is determining that in the field.
No, that's not him.
Different angles, steep elevations. What looks to be a full curl sheep from down below, you have to remember their horns are exaggerated as they come up through. Exact opposite when you're looking down on them. They're gonna look a little smaller.
Look at that background.
This is really questionable.
Okay, that's not the one for us then.
You know, we were close so many times. We really needed to be sure, 100% sure. And if we weren't, you know, we didn't take the shot.
Okay, well, let's continue on then.
Disappointment as the days pass on.
12 days, you know, that's the time we initially allotted to go in there with.
And another obstacle is thrown into the mix.
I anticipated the odd day of bad weather. Alaska is infamous for rain this time of year, but I had no idea. A lot of these days we were completely socked in with wind and rain. This kept us stuck for like 6-7 days. So much rain that the rivers swole up and we couldn't get to where we needed to go. We went from a river that was 3 feet deep to a river that was, 7 feet deep and impassable. When you talk about weather, it was brutal.
After 4 days stuck in base camp, the weather finally breaks.
It's finally stopped raining. It's been 4 long days. We had to prolong our trip. We were supposed to be leaving in a couple of days, but just pretty stoked and just happy to be out hunting.
Clear skies bring new hope and an added bonus, fresh snow.
As you can see, we got some snow. Pretty good elevation though. That's about 5,500 feet where the snow came in. With any luck, maybe some of that snow would push the sheep down a little bit, get them into the bottoms, into the flats.
The break in the weather was also an opportunity to set up a new base camp, this time further inland and closer to a new range.
The decision was made to move even deeper into this Wilson Creek drainage. As we moved, we started to see more and more sheep.
That's the closest we've seen them so far. I mean, I don't know how long we can hold out waiting for them to come to us.
Here we are, we're 18 days in, well past the midway mark, and we spot what looks to be a fully legal ram. 400 yards away, we have the Browning in our hands, Vortex dialed right in on him.
He's close. He is actually pretty close.
How old is he?
He's broomed on one side and probably through full curl on the other.
I'd say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
We sat there for probably 45 minutes debating back and forth.
Unfortunately for us, we're losing light, and he's heading to high ground. Oh, he laid down. I'm not doing anything, Terry, until you say.
It looks like he's full curl, but you know, when he levels his head, he looks like he could be full curl. But when you consider looking at him from down here at this angle, he's not going to be as long.
It was just one of those deals where I needed to be 100% sure.
I'm sure not one to miss an opportunity, but the way I think of it, I mean, I'm really torn right now.
And at the end of it, we passed.
And I was always taught and told that close only counts in
Horseshoes and hand grenades.
horseshoes.
To make a pass on this thing, it was probably one of the toughest things I ever did. And then there was, you know, some regret afterwards, a little bit for sure. But just there was something about the situation that wasn't right.
And I don't think they're going to go anywhere. And if they do go anywhere, I don't know when the hell they would go.
Coming up,
We made our way up there. We had to take our time because of the steepness of it.
Well, we're on the top right now. We're just about to crest over and see if these rams are still up here.
They were in a perfect spot.
a 2-week Dall sheep hunt in the Alaskan wilderness has become much more difficult than Steve had imagined.
We hunted super hard up to this point. We were weathered in for a lot of this time.
That other one's, I think, a pretty good ram.
Well, I'm not sure.
Even confirming if a ram is legal is proving to be a challenge.
After all the trials and tribulations that we've went through on this hunt, to have a legal ram in my sights, to let him walk, it was a long ride back in that saddle coming to camp for sure. I mean, I think it was the right decision, and today we're gonna find out.
With improved conditions and having been near to a legal ram brings renewed optimism.
The setting of Alaska is one of the things you go there for. I mean, it's primarily about the hunt, but the adventure on this trip was unbelievable. The scenics are breathtaking. You can't look in any direction without seeing something that's just, mind-blowing, really. I mean, between the mountains, the rivers, it even seemed like, when the sun was out, even the sunsets were a little different. It's a special place.
Here we go.
After spending 3 weeks in the backcountry and with time running out, the team needs to make one more hike up the mountain. The terrain is rocky and uneven.
We spot what looks to be a band of sheep out there, and I'm looking at 2 or 3 of them that I know are legal rams. We made our way up there. We had to take our time because of the steepness of it, but they were in a perfect spot. The excitement and the adrenaline is rushing.
Well, we're on the top right now. We're just about to crest over and see if these rams are still up here.
Peeked over the edge, and luckily enough, the rams were still there, picture perfect.
You know what I'd like to do? I'd like to get onto that knob. Come up the backside of that knob right there, that little hill, instead of going right at him. Get a little elevation on him.
I'm trying to tell myself, stay calm, stay focused, that whole aim small, miss small kind of thing.
If you can get your eye on there without moving that tripod, He's right in the middle of it right now.
Our guide gets on the spotting scope, makes verification.
I see him. I think it's the first or second myself.
First one I see is green down the one. Doesn't look green down the other.
So that first one is definitely a no, right?
No. Number 3.
The one that just hopped up?
Yeah.
He's number 3, right? Right now?
Yeah.
Still number 3, right?
Yeah.
I got a range from the spotter.
Okay, how far?
327.
And I still remember him saying 327 and making the adjustments on the vortex scope. He's broomed on the right.
Broomed on both sides.
Confirmed?
Confirmed.
He confirmed legal ram. Confirmed?
Confirmed.
Okay, I'm on him. Here we go. I stayed on the legal ram in the scope, settling in and squeezing off that trigger.
Ready? Second one.
He's down.
Is he down?
He's falling down.
Oh yeah, I see him.
It was a tough one, but very exciting.
That was a hard-fought battle. I mean, 21 days ago we came to Alaska in pursuit of this white ram. You know, we've been on good rams and not quite legal rams, and it's just been a battle.
Did I think it was going to take this long? Absolutely not. I was determined to bring the white sheep home from Alaska, and that's exactly what we did.
The Edge was brought to you by Cabela's and Bog Pod, Browning, Buck Expert, Caldwell, Field Torque Knives, High Mountain Seasonings, HowToHunt.com, Hornady, Prime Archery, Polaris, 10-Point Crossbows, Wild Game Innovations Trail Cameras, and Vortex.